Hi, I'm Michelle. Just want to show you my own version of either Yorkshire puddings or, as I'm making today, is toad in the hole. That's the traditional English recipe where you put sausages in a bowl and then you put your toad in the hole mix on top of that. Right, the first thing I'm going to use, and this is one of my staples, is xanthan gum. It does have a habit of getting a little bit lumpy in your mix, so if I put that in first, that should stop that happening. Now, I'm doing my technical method of measuring here, and I've put in about half a teaspoonful in there. So to that, I'm going to add my milk, and I'm going to be putting in about 12 fluid ounces of milk. That's quite a lot compared to a normal recipe, but I can assure you that's what makes it work. Right, and I've just thrown that in, and I perhaps shouldn't have done. I should have mixed it straight away with xanthan gum, otherwise it's going to go all lumpy. So I'm giving that a quick mix first to make sure those lumps don't come, and then I'm going to top it up to the 12 fluid ounces. You don't have to be too exact with this recipe, just around about the 12 fluid ounces, and that will be fine. Next thing I'm going to put in is my egg. So just one egg, straight in there, and then give that a quick mix now as well. Okay, so far I've got the xanthan gum, one egg and 12 fluid ounces of milk. I'm using semi-skimmed milk here. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in my flour. And this is where I go a little bit off stream from the normal Yorkshire pudding or toad in the hole mix, because I'm not actually going to use plain flour. Because this is wheat free, this means we haven't got the gluten in there, so to give it a little bit of help to rise, I'm going to actually use self-raising flour instead. So into here I'm going to put 4 ounces of self-raising flour. I've got one of these scales that you can zeroise, which makes it really easy, so long as I don't put too much in. Okay, so I'm getting in there, nearly. That's it. Okay, and then I can mix that in. And now the last thing I need is a pinch of salt, which I haven't got yet. Just going to get the salt. And a good pinch of salt goes in there as well. Right, now I'm going to mix this until it's all incorporated, and then I'm going to leave it to stand for a few minutes before I actually put it into my Yorkshire pudding or toad in the hole dish. Now, as per any normal Yorkshire pudding or toad in the hole recipe, you want to make sure your oven's really hot before you put this in. And also make sure that you've got some nice oil of some sort in there to stop them sticking to the pan. Okay, so that's it for now, and I'll be back and show you when I put it in the pan. So, as I said, we're going to be making a toad in the hole recipe. That's a traditional English recipe, and that's a sausage dish with Yorkshire pudding mix in with it. So, my sausages have been in the oven whilst the oven's coming up to temperature, and that's all ready now. So I'm going to get the sausages in the dish out and add the Yorkshire pudding mix. This is really hot. I've got in here wheat-free sausages. These are from my local supermarket, but obviously you can get them from your own local supermarket. If I'm just having sausages as sausages, I personally prefer to use Spanish sausages, or French sausages. The reason I like those sausages is because they actually have no wheat of any sort. They're just a meat-based sausage. So there they are. I put all of that in there, and that's now ready to go back in the oven. I might have to push those back down as it starts to cook to keep them in the bottom. And I'm going to put that back in the oven now. Oh, I think I need to open the oven first. And now I've stuck to my dish, my heat-proof thing. See, nothing ever goes well for anybody. Right, I need to, there it goes, up there. My dish was exceedingly hot and it started to cook already. There you go. And will stay in the oven the same amount of time as a normal Yorkshire pudding mix, or so that will stay in the oven for the same amount of time as a normal Yorkshire pudding or traditional toad in the hole recipe. So that's about on a high heat for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then turn it down for the last 20 minutes. I'll obviously come back and show you what that looks like at the end. Okay, I'm just going to run through the recipe again. I put in half a teaspoon of xanthan gum. This is your staple when you're on a wheat free. I put that in my jug and then I added 12 fluid ounces of milk. I use semi-skim milk. So then I put in 1 egg, 4 ounces of self-raising flour. Again, that's a break from the traditional Yorkshire pudding mix, because that would normally be a plain flour, but I'm using self-raising, and the good pinch of salt. So that's the recipe for you. Baking it for half an hour, 40 minutes, on a high heat for the first 10 to 15 minutes, and then turning it down the last 20 minutes. Hi, so welcome back. So my toad in the hole's been in the oven for the last 35-40 minutes, and I'm ready to get it out now. So here it is. Woo, it's quite hot. Okay, so as you can see, it's nicely risen. That's because I used the self-raising flour. I know that's not right to use self-raising flour, but works for me. I'm just going to serve out and show you a slice. Because this is going to be good. Because I'm using the self-raising flour, that means that it comes up quite light in comparison to a standard recipe. Oh, just hope I can get this out nicely. But my husband is not wheat free and he loves this recipe. Right. I knew this would happen. It sticks. But that's fine. So there we go. Toad in the hole with a really light Yorkshire pudding mix. Just going to get a little bit more. Oh, shouldn't have done that. That's really hot. So I'm going to serve this with some new potatoes and some fresh vegetables, which are actually from our garden. So that's your toad in the hole. So what I did was I started off with half a teaspoon of xanthan gum, and I put in 12 fluid ounces of semi-skimmed milk. Mixed that up a bit, added 1 free-range egg. Again, I mixed that again. Then to that I added 4 ounces of self-raising flour and 1 pinch of salt. Mix that all up, let it rest, and then put it in the oven in a hot dish on a hot oven for 10 to 15 minutes, and then turn the heat down to a medium oven for the last 20 minutes. And this is the result. a nice, lovely light, well, yeah, lovely and light, as you can see, it's really balancing that Yorkshire pudding mix, and this is the way I've made my toad in the hole today. So thanks for watching this, and hope you enjoy my other recipes on www.livingwithoutwheat.com. Good night.